Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, State Senator Ted Lieu, as we continue our 22nd anniversary year.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by the Port of Long Beach, a leader in international trade and environmental stewardship, and the Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great show for you tonight. Our guest for the entire evening is the distinguished State Senator Ted Lieu, representing the 28th Senatorial District. Senator, welcome to Straight Talk.
Thank you.
Give us a sense of the session just ended.
We had a very productive session, and maybe I'll start by taking you back 5 years to 2008, where we had a $60 billion budget deficit, unemployment in double digits, and our credit rating was tanking. Just a few months ago, the legislature passed an on-time, balanced budget. Our credit rating has increased, our unemployment has now dropped to lowest in nearly 5 years, and we have a projected budget surplus. So I believe the best days in California are yet to come.
Well done. And I believe the people passed a bill saying that legislators would not get paid if the budget didn't get in on time on July 1.
We were able to do this because of an assist by the voters in a number of ways. The voters put in exactly what you said, that we would be penalized if we don't pass a budget on time. But they also gave us a lot of tools to do that. They made it so that we can pass a budget with a majority vote, as long as we don't raise taxes or fees.
As opposed to two-thirds.
They also put in redistricting reform, they put in open primary, and they put in term limits reform, all of which have made the legislature much more functional.
Those are important procedural improvements that help with the loggerheads that the legislature found itself in years ago.
Yes, and the legislature now is less extreme, it's more functional, it's more bipartisan, and we're able to get a lot more things done.
Good. Well, there are a couple of bills that you've introduced that we'd like to touch on. SB 62 on prescription drug abuse.
The number of people that die from legal prescription painkillers is now more than heroin and cocaine combined.
Oh my.
It's an epidemic.
I don't think anyone had any idea of that degree of a problem.
Their Centers for Disease Control has called it a silent epidemic. And it's because people get addicted without knowing that it could happen to them. Let's say you have a back injury and you take OxyContin. For some people it's fine, but for a certain percentage, they will get addicted and they will need more. And eventually they will die because of their addiction.
And what would your bill do?
It requires coroners to send information to the California Medical Board if they have a person who died because of a narcotics overdose. And that will let the medical board see patterns where they can see, for example, if 5 patients have died linked to the same doctor. And many doctors are fantastic and terrific, but there are some doctors who are either careless or negligent in how they prescribe powerful painkillers, and some who do it, who are bad doctors who do it for money. And so we want to make sure that these folks are weeded out.
Senate Bill 549, another one of yours.
Yes, it's one of my most important bills. It requires a videotaping of juveniles who are interrogated for murder. And it's because we know that one of the greatest evils government can do is to have a wrongful conviction. Second highest cause of wrongful convictions are false confessions. And juveniles have false confessions at a very high rate. And you may wonder, why would someone admit or say something they didn't do? Well, it just happens, especially if you're young. Studies show that for 12 to 15-year-olds who were exonerated, it showed that 69% of them had falsely confessed to crimes they never committed.
Really? I guess when you're young particularly, but even if you're not so young, under skilled interrogators by authorities, they can induce you to say something that...
Absolutely. Or maybe they'll have you make a certain statement that you may not know is incriminating. You may be intoxicated or under influence of other substances. Videotaping would help prevent that. 840 jurisdictions already do it.
And finally, Senate Bill 353 relating to the Affordable Health Care Act, so-called Obamacare.
So California is going full steam ahead to implement the Federal Affordable Care Act. We do know that a certain percentage of the folks who are now getting access to health care are in limited English-speaking families. My bill simply requires health plans to translate their core documents into other languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and so on.
So the users can understand what they are being offered.
Absolutely, because many of these folks never had insurance to begin with.
That's right, that's right. Now these are all bills that will be sent to Governor Brown to either sign or not sign as he chooses.
Yes.
And by the time this show airs, some of them may be signed and may become effective, I guess, January 1 of next year.
Correct.
And some may die on the governor's desk.
Now we're also in 2-year sessions, and this is the first of the 2-year session. So if something doesn't pass or get signed this year, there's always next year to try again.
Oh, does that mean it has to be reintroduced, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's encouraging to see that the legislature is working a little better than it has in the past. You've had experience in the Assembly, and now, of course, as a senator, experience there. Compare the difference in the relationships.
It's a smaller institution, the Senate. It is, I found it to be more cordial, more bipartisan. We speak less on the Senate floor. We're somewhat more efficient. But we work very well with the Assembly, and it takes both houses to pass any law. But this past year has shown what can happen when the voters give you the tools you need to make government more efficient.
Well said. Okay, in the next segment, we want to focus on a very important issue, and that's national security and some of the activities that might be depriving us as Americans of our constitutional rights. Stay with us.
At the Port of Long Beach, we're not only delivering jobs, smart ideas, and forward-thinking environmental initiatives. We're also delivering opportunity for all of Southern California. Oh, and a clearer horizon line. To learn more, go to POLB.com, the Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
Hello, I'm Jessica Hardy, a proud Long Beach native and a member of the USA Swimming national team. Having spent much of my life in water, I've developed a deep appreciation for the valuable role that this precious resource plays in our lives. In recent years, California's water supply has become unreliable. To address this reality, Long Beach residents have dramatically reduced their water use through permanent lifestyle changes. In doing so, Long Beach has made itself a leader in water conservation. As I work hard to achieve my personal goal of qualifying for the 2012 Summer Olympics, I encourage you to continue your tremendous efforts to use water in smart and responsible ways. So join me and your fellow Long Beach residents in strengthening the water conservation movement. By making small but significant changes in our water use habits, together we can ensure that we have a reliable water supply for many generations to come.
At Performance Plus Tire, you'll find we carry Toyo tires. For over 50 years, Toyo has been a world leader in the development of high-quality tires. Optimum performance, safety, and a comfortable ride. That's what makes Toyo tires great. And now come into Performance Plus Tire for a great deal on these Toyo tires. Proxys ST, Open Country AT, and Proxys 4. Toyo tires, driven to perform. Come in today and we'll install new Toyo tires on your vehicle while you wait. Performance Plus Tire on Cherry Avenue, 1 mile north of the 405 in Long Beach.